Hey there. I just wanted to let you know that next week I will be offering a free live VBAC prep workshop called Three Steps to Have an Empowered VBAC, even without a supportive provider. The two sessions will be on Wednesday, October 9th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The second session is Tuesday, October 15th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You don't have to attend both. You can attend either one, or you can attend both if you'd like. Again, this will be live. Some of the things I'll be covering in the workshop are how to shift from fear and doubt to confidence and empowerment when it comes to your VBAC, the power of effective communication and boundary setting, and how you can still have a strong support system even without a supportive provider. This workshop is perfect for anyone, whether you're trying to conceive or currently pregnant and preparing for a VBAC. Again, the two dates currently being offered are Wednesday, October 9th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and Tuesday, October 15th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to find out more and register for one of the workshop dates, please go to thehannahgill.com/workshop. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Ebb and Flow Birth Show. Today I have an interview with a very exciting guest. We get into so many great topics about hypnobirthing and hypnosis for childbirth through her Hypnobabies program. So, as founder and director of Hypnobabies Hypnobirthing Childbirth Education, Kerry Tuschhoff has loved being a childbirth educator, doula, speaker, and hypnotherapist for over 30 years. Teaching families to trust in their minds, bodies, babies, and the process of childbirth is her passion, and hearing healing birth stories is her joy. Educating people who need change and healing about the life-altering benefits of therapeutic hypnosis for many physical, emotional, and financial issues is also paramount to Kerry. So let's welcome Kerry Tuschhoff to the show. Welcome to the podcast where we get into the real and raw of pregnancy, birth, and postpartum. My name is Hannah Gill. I'm a VBAC mom, doula, and birth educator, and I help women discover their options and harness their inner power to have the experiences they desire. I'm here to support you through the ebbs and flows of these transformative years so we can have open and honest conversations about the hard, the messy, and the beautiful parts of motherhood. This is the Ebb and Flow Birth Show. Hi, Kerry. Welcome to the Ebb and Flow Birth Show. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you for having me, Hannah. I really appreciate it.
So if you could just give a brief summary of why you started Hypnobabies and the work that you do.
Sure. Well, it all started way back when I was having my own children. And I was, a friend of mine gave birth. This was when we were both first married, and she gave birth naturally or unmedicated. And I was fascinated. And so I went and became an instructor of the Bradley Method, which was a wonderful childbirth education program that taught me so much about everything, pregnancy and birthing, and just all the deep relaxation and all of that. It was amazing. And I was just smitten by the birth bug. And I thought I knew. I was also a doula to all of my students. And I thought I knew everything there was to have about having a baby. It was going to be beautiful and wonderful and manageable. And then I got pregnant and had my first baby. And when it very first started, I knew this is not what I signed up for. And so her head was turned around. It was posterior, which means the back of the head was scraping down my spine for 36 hours. With every contraction that I am now going to be calling birthing waves, because that's what we do in Hypnobabies. And it was excruciating. And so I started out at a birth center, a freestanding birth center owned by a doctor. And the pain was so ferocious. I had no idea there was any such thing. Right. I was just terrified of the next wave. And so it was just awful. I ended up being wheelchaired over to the hospital across the street, had an epidural, and I am now have a great deal of respect and understanding for people who choose an epidural, because I totally get it. However, I was traumatized. I was traumatized by the pain. I was traumatized by the loss of my unmedicated birthing, which I thought was just, I had the right to have. And so I ended up having PTSD, and it was pretty bad. But I had my beautiful baby, and she was, healthy, and that was amazing. And it took me 4 years to get up the nerve to have another baby. But then when I went into my birthing with him at a freestanding birth center, um, his head was also turned around posterior. And so I was screaming my head off.
Mm-hmm.
And during one particularly gnarly wave, it got done. My husband had been pushing on my back. My sister had been holding my hands. And I looked up into her face and she was sobbing. And she said, "It should never have to be this hard." And it's like a light bulb went
Mm-hmm.
on over my head, Hannah. I just decided that even if I never had another child, and I did not, I was going to find a way that other people would not have to go through this if they wanted a more holistic, unmedicated experience for their
Mm-hmm.
birthing. So I just went looking,
Yeah.
and I ended up seeing a TV show about hypnosis for childbirth, and then looked it up online, and there was an organization that taught people how to do this. So I went and got trained, and unfortunately, or fortunately, it was not what I was looking for. There was very little hypno in the birthing. So I went on and studied hypnosis and then hypnotherapy, and then became a hypnotherapist, and then found hypnoanesthesia. I didn't realize there was such a thing, but it is for real. And it is when people, it was developed for people who, they have to have surgery, whether it's dental or medical surgery, but they can't have regular medical anesthetics because they're allergic to them.
Okay.
So
I didn't know that was a
they
thing.
work, yeah. So they work with a hypnotherapist ahead of time for months on these, tracks. They listen to hypnosis sessions and tracks, and it basically retrains their inner minds so that the scalpel of the surgeon will feel like, maybe a tingling sensation or maybe a stretching or pulling sensation. And that's how they're able to do the surgery and recover so well with no medical anesthetics. And once I realized that was a real thing, that was it. Then I created Hypnobabies, and put that into Hypnobabies. And Hypnobabies had to be a complete childbirth education program, because you can't get your hypno at the same place. If you can't get your hypno at the same place as you're getting your childbirth education, then you're basically learning two different philosophies.
Mm-hmm.
Either you're learning, in say a hypno class, or with, if they're a real hypno class with childbirth education, then you're learning everything, and that's what we teach: nutrition and exercise and staying healthy and low risk, and all of the stages of birthing and all the comfort positions and postpartum and everything, along with the medical hypnoanesthesia and why and how you're doing all of this. But if you learned your hypnosis, but then you went to another course that was teaching you that, yeah, birth is painful, but just, hold this ice and see how long you can stand the pain, through relaxation, then it would be conflicting.
Mm-hmm.
So that was in 2001 when I created Hypnobabies. And
It's
basically, Hypnobabies is amazing, I should say, even to me. And that is because if you learn, practice, and use Hypnobabies as directed, most of the time you can have a much easier experience, which is the goal.
mm-hmm.
The goal is not necessarily to have a pain-free birth, although we do have people here and there who have 100% pain-free birth, and that's great, and I love it. And basically, though, it is that, the goal of people who do Hypnobabies, and for us behind the scenes, is to have every person who uses Hypnobabies have the best birthing they can possibly have by using the power of their mind. And so that's what everybody does, and it works very, very well.
Yeah,
So
I will say
that's
that
what's going on.
I took Hypnobabies for my second birth, which was my VBAC, and I had planned to go unmedicated with my first, but I didn't do much to prepare for that besides just taking the general courses. And then as soon as I got to the hospital, I got an epidural with my first. I was like, there's no way, no way I can do this. And then with my second, I heard of Hypnobabies through my doula, and I listened to my tracks. I did everything every day my whole pregnancy. I started even earlier than the 30 weeks and just got used to it. And I always tell people my pain tolerance didn't change between my first and my second birth. It was my mind that changed. It was my breath control that changed. It was the control of my body that changed. So I always tell people that we're all able to do this. This isn't something that one or the other is not able to do and to go unmedicated. It's just the preparation you put into it that really helps make everything go a little bit more smooth.
Right. And I'm so actually so proud of people who step out of the box and choose a different way to give birth to their baby. There's absolutely nothing wrong with going in and having an epidural at 2 centimeters. Trust
Mhm.
me, I was there and I totally 100% get it. But I'm very proud that there are people who, realize they want something different for
Mhm.
themselves and their babies. They want to avoid those interventions. They want to avoid the chance of ending up having a very different kind of birth or drugs getting into their babies, for
Mhm.
various reasons. um, Respiratory and breastfeeding, that sort of thing, that the drugs can affect. And they inspire me. My students inspire me every single day of my life.
Mhm.
And it's why I keep doing what I do and keep developing different programs and tracks and track sets for people to use hypnosis for different things because our minds are incredibly powerful.
Mhm. They are. They are. Your mind will give up way before your body does, for sure. And that's why I think the mindset of it all is so important. So one thing I wanted to ask, because a lot of people don't understand what is hypnosis. A lot of people hear hypnosis and think it's some woo-woo thing. And then what is it not?
Okay. Well, we might start with the not, because the reason is because most people think that hypnosis is what they see on the stage, and it would be somebody being plucked out of the audience and, put in a chair, and then, woo, somebody makes you go into some sort of state that you can't control yourself, and all of a sudden you're quacking like a duck or acting like Elvis or something like that. But that is actually not hypnosis. That is an entertainment that everybody on that stage has decided to participate in, and it's a lot of fun. And that's basically all it is. So, real therapeutic hypnosis is not that. And it is not religious, and it is not woo woo, and it is not new wave, new age, or anything alien. The truth is that real hypnosis is a very focused form of concentration. And we are all in states of hypnosis many times a day, every single day of our lives. So when you are waking up and going to sleep, you're in a state of hypnosis. When you're daydreaming about that trip to Hawaii that you would love to take, you're in a state of hypnosis. Whenever you're reading anything, whether it's a book or the newspaper or a tablet or a screen, you are in a state of hypnosis. Your eyes go back and forth, you enter an alpha state. And then if you're on a screen of any kind, whether it's a phone, a tablet, a computer, a TV, or a movie screen, by virtue of the movement of everything back and forth and your focus and concentration, you are in a state of hypnosis. And of course, driving. We've all experienced that thing where we're driving along and we're concentrating, we're thinking about what's going to happen when we get to wherever we're going, and all of a sudden we're either there or we're sitting at a traffic light and we go, holy cow, what happened to the last 5 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
You don't even remember it. And that is because you were in a state of hypnosis. So we are in states of hypnosis all the time. There is nothing alien about it. There is never any possible time where anyone is in control. You are always in control. So all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. You choose to enter hypnosis. You choose to stay in hypnosis. You choose to accept the suggestions, which are the messages within the hypnosis. And you can even choose to come up and emerge out of hypnosis or not if you're feeling totally relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of a session, they can count you up until they're purple. And if you want to stay there, you will. You
Right.
are 100% in control.
Mm-hmm.
So, with therapeutic hypnosis, which would be hypnosis to use for any particular purpose, whether it is eliminating a phobia, stopping smoking, releasing weight, having an easier childbirth, we are very simply taking that state of hypnosis deeper. So we can think of the conscious mind as being on the top level. That is the conscious mind is what we're all using right now to listen or watch this show and decide what we think about it, being aware of the room around us and other things. So that's our conscious mind. And it's what, we use every single day, all the time, and are aware of. Now, down deep inside, we have another mind, and that is the subconscious mind. And it is basically a vault full of folders of everything that we have ever seen or heard or done or experienced. And it keeps them there. So it's basically all of our belief systems, because all of those things make up our belief systems. And so when we're going in with therapeutic hypnosis from the conscious to the subconscious mind, we're basically not taking anything out, but we are giving it a new belief system. So say we wanted to stop smoking. Then at the subconscious level, once we have gone into hypnosis and down into the subconscious, we basically say to our subconscious that we see ourselves as a non-smoker and everything that would be involved with that. And the subconscious, being like a 5-year-old child, goes, oh, okay. And if those messages keep coming, then eventually the subconscious mind will accept all of that. And when I say the messages need to keep coming, it's called compounding.
Mm-hmm.
So the messages have to be repeated and repeated. We have to listen every day and keep listening and listening until the subconscious mind has accepted all the new messages and put the other belief system that I am a smoker to the background. And that's what we're doing with childbirth education and hypnosis together in Hypnobabies.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to get from the conscious to the subconscious, there is basically a little fellow in between called the critical faculty, and it's a filter, and it decides how much of the things that we think or see or hear in the conscious state get through to the subconscious. So we need for it to take a nap, and the way that we do that is by taking ourselves into hypnosis, making the critical faculty just rest for a while, and then going directly into the subconscious mind and then giving it whatever messages we want. So the first thing that we do in order to enter hypnosis is relax the entire body. The body needs to be relaxed when we are learning and practicing hypnosis. So that means not sitting on the couch going click, click, click with the remote. That's not deep relaxation. Deep relaxation is when you literally are in a fully supported position. So every single part of you is supported. And then you close your eyes so that you don't have that stimulation from light or anything going on in the room. You make sure that, all of your dings and buzzes are off of your devices. And then you are guided to relax your body from the top of your head all the way down to your toes. And after that, then we relax the mind. And that could come in the form of counting backwards from 100, or maybe imagining going down a flight of stairs. There's different ways of doing what we call deepening hypnosis until we get, in Hypnobabies' case, to a somnambulistic state. That's a very deep state of hypnosis wherein the brain waves slow down a great deal. So if you're in an alpha state, your brain waves have slowed down a bit. But when you're in a theta state, that where you can create a somnambulistic state of hypnosis, the brain waves are very slow. And that is what we are really working towards, because it is in a somnambulistic state where we can create hypnoanesthesia in any part of the body. And so that's what we do in Hypnobabies. And we have a series of classes. So there's 6 classes, and in each class, there is different hypnosis. Mm-hmm. And each one builds upon the last one. And then you keep moving forward in the class and learning new techniques and cues until at the end, you are practicing quite a few of these, but with one track a day, one main track a day, and then you rotate those. So Monday, you're listening to your special place. The next day, you'll listen to deepening your hypnosis. And the next day, you'll listen to hypnotic childbirth #1, and so forth. And so in this way, all the way until the baby is born, or all the way until you go into your birthing time, I should say, you are practicing hypnosis in this very, fully supported state and relaxed state. So there's no walking, no jogging, no showering, no cooking while you're listening to your hypnosis sessions. And then when this is a unique thing to Hypnobabies, when you're in your birthing time, which is what we call labor, you can walk and talk and move around and eat and drink and go to the bathroom and change positions and communicate with whoever's there for you, and still stay in hypnosis and deeply relaxed, because that is built into Hypnobabies. It's called eyes open childbirth hypnosis. And so that is a very important thing for people to understand, because many people think, well, if I'm using hypnosis for, during my birth, I'll just be out of it. I won't know anything that's going on. I won't be able to do anything. I'll just be laying in a bed like a zombie. And it's not like that at all. So those are the basics.
Yeah, I will say from my experience, I had a pretty fast birthing time with my second. It was almost precipitous. It was about 4.5 hours total, but I didn't even have to listen to my tracks during birthing time. The only one I actually ended up listening to was during the pushing phase. But because I practiced and listened to my tracks through all of pregnancy, I was just able to get myself in that state without even having to actively listen to them, which was great. And like you said, I would not describe it as being out of it or anything like that. I was fully in tune with my body. I was in my body, kind of tuning out everyone else, but I was in my body, and I could feel everything in ways that it didn't feel painful. It was more of, you just felt the sensations, almost like the pressures, just the different sensations you feel throughout birthing time. But I would never have described it as painful. Intensity, pressure, but no pain. And I was fully able to surrender to the process from all of the practice beforehand. So
well, I am delighted for you, because that is the way that it should be. People should not be anxious about their birthing and be fearful about it, and then go through it and afterwards be so exhausted or fried from the pain that they can't hold their baby. And this is what I used to see when I would attend my students' Bradley births. Not that there's anything wrong with Bradley. Please don't send me emails. I love the Bradley method. And but with the thousands and thousands of Hypnobabies births for the last 23 years, it's It's a whole different experience
Mm-hmm.
to have it be that way, where it is intense. It's very intense pressure because just like with surgery, you will feel something if you're using hypnoanesthesia. With hypnobabies, you will feel pushing and pulling sensations, tightening, baby movements, things like that during your birthing. And sometimes there is discomfort that feels like menstrual cramps
Mm-hmm.
or a lot of pressure
Mm-hmm.
at one time, but when people learn, practice, and use hypnobabies, it just makes it easier.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I do want to mention, you mentioned not having to listen to the birthing tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that is another thing in hypnobabies, that people are able to choose the way that they would like to use their hypnosis when they're in
Mm-hmm.
their birthing. So they can listen to the birthing tracks that we give them, which keep them in hypnosis, keep them deeply relaxed, activate all their hypnosis cues and techniques that they have been learning over the last few months. They can do all of that. Or they can just, do the hypnosis inside their head. They can, for instance, there's a cue word for you listeners. I know you know this, Hannah, but there's a cue word piece. And if it is said out loud by either you or your hypnodoula or your birth partner, it acts as a deep relaxation catalyst throughout the body. You can also say it inside of your head, and it spreads the hypnoanesthesia throughout the parts of your body that you would like, whether it's your back or your abdomen, your cervix, even down your thighs, whatever it is. So we have those sorts of things. We have other techniques that you can do just inside your head. There's also birth prompts that the birth partner can read. These are little phrases that activate the cues and techniques that come directly from all of the hypnosis sessions that you have been learning over the last couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
And so they can say those to you or your hypnodoula if you would like to hear their voice.
Right.
There are physical cues from the birth partners, the hand on the shoulder or forehead, that they can also use if you would like them to touch you. And if you don't want anybody to do anything, then you just say, don't touch me, don't talk to me, I'm doing my own hypno. And
Right.
that's perfectly cool too. And that's pretty much what you did. And so these are different ways that people can use these techniques during their birthing. There is no one particular way, and there are many positions that they can choose. And we teach those things as well.
So, if any of my listeners are interested in taking Hypnobabies, I am an affiliate, but you said you also have a special discount code you wanted to mention.
Yes. So first of all, our website is hypnobabies.com, and our store is hypnobabies-store.com. However, I'm hoping that Hannah will use her affiliate link to direct you to our store,
Mm-hmm.
where you, as a listener of this podcast, can save 20% on anything in our online store except for our hard copy home study hypnobirthing course. So the two online courses are on there. The fertility course is on there because we get people pregnant too.
Mm-hmm.
We have a breastfeeding course. We have individual tracks that eliminate nausea and fear of childbirth, and not fear of needles and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
We have assorted different individual tracks and sets as well. So the discount code ebb and flow 20, and I'm sure that Hannah will put this in the show notes,
Mm-hmm.
is your discount code for 20% off. And we are happy to extend that to the listeners of this show because, we want to encourage people to understand that their mind is super, super powerful. So if you just want to start with our Eliminate Stress and Anxiety track in the category of Hypnosis for Life at our store, that would be a good place to start. But if you're ready to jump in, then you're going to go to the home study section and, look at our online courses.
You just finished another episode of the Ebb and Flow Birth Show. For more, head over to ebbandflowbirthco.com or on Instagram at ebbandflowbirthco. As a reminder, this podcast is provided to you for educational and entertainment purposes only. It is not a substitute for medical advice. Until next time, bye friends.